The products in this video have been supplied by Thermaltake. A link to their Facebook page and website are in the description. So you like some of that RGB, huh? Well, have I got the fans for you. Alright, well first things first, let's have a bit of an unboxing and see what we get inside. So the box is pretty nice, and it's actually a lot heavier than I expected it to be. But I guess it's got 3 reasonably high quality fans in there, so you'd expect it to have some sort of weight. But it has a little bit of a window here, which opens up to give you a sneak peek at the first fan. And it also gives you a bit of a look at some of the lighting modes and bits and pieces, and a sneak peek at the software. But we'll get into it. We'll cover all that a bit later on, but let's have a look at what they actually look like physically. What have we got in the top here? Looks like a Molex connector and some power cables, a USB cable obviously for the control port, and then basically we've just got the fans. So they're all pretty tightly packed in here. So, right, let's get it all out and then we'll see what's in there. So, that's all there is. We've obviously got some information, manual. We've got the control box here, which is pretty clean, nice and basic looking. Then we've got the 3 fans. What do we got here? Some screws and some mounting hardware, which will just sit across there, 3 sets of that. And that's really it. But if we take a quick look at the fans, already they look a bit different to the previous generation of ring fans. The outer ring is actually frosted instead of clear. So hopefully that helps with, I guess, the dissipation of light, which will be interesting when we get it going to see what they look like. But they've got plenty of cable on them, so it'll be fairly straightforward to hide them or run the cables wherever you need to. But a pretty basic boxed setup, so let's get them going and see what they look like. So here we have Thermaltake's new Ring Plus 12 RGB radiator fans. They retail at $129 Australian or $109.99 US. The dimensions are 120mm square by 25mm deep, and the fans weigh 160 grams each. Each fan has 12 individually controllable LEDs and are capable of displaying up to 16.8 million colours, but we'll see more of that later when we get to the software. The speed range is between 500 and 1500 RPM. The maximum static pressure is claimed at 1.54mm H2O. The maximum airflow is 48.34 CFM, and the noise is rated at 24.6 decibels at 1500 RPM or 19.8 decibel at 500 RPM. The fans use a hydraulic bearing and are rated at 40,000 hours use. They also come with a 2-year warranty. Now if we have a look at the control box, you can see it has a really nice clean design. It's powered by a single Molex connector and connects to the motherboard by USB 2. Now you can run 5 fans from each control box and actually daisy chain up to 16 control boxes together if for some reason you need to run 80 fans. Alright, so let me give you a bit of a tour of the software. So first of all, this doesn't come bundled with the pack. You have to download it from the Thermaltake website, but it doesn't take very long. It's only about 25 megabytes, so you'll have it in no time. So basically, what we're looking at here, it's just a single page layout, so it's nice and straightforward. In the top left, we've got the number of control boxes, because remember, you can daisy chain them. So obviously we've only got 1 connected, so it's only showing 1 there. On the top right, we've got the number of profiles, so you can have five profiles within each box, but we've only got 1 set here. And obviously on the main page you can see that it can display 5 fans, but we've only got 3 connected, so it's only got 3 there. Now if we look at the overall settings within each fan, it gives you an RPM readout here and the 3 RPM performance mode. So you've got performance, which is going to have it close to the maximum RPM, silent, which will have it down at the minimum, and PWM, which will obviously dynamically adjust according to temperature. You've also got your RPM sliders here as well, so you can drop them right down and control the fan RPMs to exactly how you want. And obviously each fan can be controlled independently of another. So if we look at the lighting modes, this is how it comes out of the box. This is what it looks like standard. It's just doing a wave pattern in a slow transition. Now, first thing I did was actually sped it up because I thought that the slow animation looked a bit clunky. So if we put it up to so fast, I think that looks the most natural. Now, I've got the other two fans here on copy color, which is basically means it's going to copy everything that fan 1 does. So if we just cycle through the lighting modes, we can get a look at what it's actually capable of doing. So we've got a full lighted there, which is just a static color. So that's not doing anything fancy. We'll skip sound control because I don't have any sound actually going, but there are 3 different sound control modes. There's a flow mode, which obviously speaks for itself. It just flows around in an animation and changes through the spectrum as it goes. Got an RGB spectrum, which is statically lit but cycles through the colors. There's a ripple effect, so you can change the color to be whatever you like. It's simply just a matter of clicking anywhere in this color spectrum wheel, and providing you've got the other fans set on copy color on this one, it will transition it across to all of them. You've got blinking mode, which is set on RGB, but you can change it to a single color as well. And again, you can cycle through the colors if you like. Pulse mode, which again by default is set to RGB. It's just a simple case of clicking and changing the color if you want. And we're back to wave. So it seems like we went through those pretty quick, but don't let that fool you. It's actually very complex, this software. So let me just show you a couple of things what we can do. So if we go to full lighted and change it to, actually we'll leave it at RGB, because here is where we can actually change each individual LED to be a different color. So here's where you can start to get some very crazy combinations going. Now what you need to do, if you want to set your own specific colors, you just need to click the LEDs, it will select them, and then you can choose the color. Now once it's doing that, you can actually change this to be RGB but not colored, so, well, not copy color. So you can go around here and you can change fan 2 to be right along the bottom if you like. It's just a matter of playing around. Like, there's infinite combinations, and you can see that it reflects on the camera there exactly what's going on. So you can get some really crazy and dynamic looks going if you like. It's just a matter of having a bit of a play around. But it's very straightforward, and I actually really quite enjoy the software. I think that it's very easy to find your way around, and really easy to actually transition from what you've got in your imagination to exactly how you want it in the real world. So I just want to commend Thermaltake on actually creating some software that is very straightforward, yet quite comprehensive at the same time. So good job, Thermaltake, and I think that once you spend a few minutes playing around in the software, you'll have your head around it and you'll be able to visualize exactly what you want to do and put it in place. So what if we take a look at these new Ring Plus fans versus the old Ring RGB models from Thermaltake? Two things you're going to notice straight away. The first is the ring design itself is very different. On the new version it's frosted, which does a much better job at uniformly spreading the light around the fan. On the previous version it just had a clear ring, which wasn't that great because it actually led to LED lighting hotspots. You'll also see that the fan design, or the blade design, is very different. The new versions have 9 larger fins or blades, and the previous version has 11 smaller ones. So perhaps they went back to the drawing board and decided that less bigger fans actually did a better job. The other difference is that the new Plus fans have 12 LEDs, whereas the previous version only had 4. So now we're just going to do a really quick sound test. Now this setting is actually on minimum, so 500 RPM, and they're basically inaudible, especially under the noise of the rest of the system functioning. So let's jack it up to full speed and see if we can hear it. So you can hear as they ramp up to be full speed, it is a noticeable increase in sound, but still not what I would class as annoying. I've definitely heard much louder fans in the past. Alright, so there they are. Now first things first, let me talk about the fact that, yes, I know I didn't do any comparative radiator testing or temperature testing between these and other fans, and that's partly because the only other fans I've got on hand are the earlier version of the Ring fans, so it wouldn't be that much of a comparison. But also, let's admit that you're here not because you're looking for some great radiator fans, but because you're looking for some great looking radiator fans. And that's what these have in spades. Absolutely incredible looks. Now, I've got no doubt that they function very, very well as radiator fans. They're probably not going to be quite up there with the Noctuas or the EK Vardas or anything like that, but they're going to do a great job and they're going to look amazing doing it. So how about the pricing then? So the triple pack including the controller comes in at $129, which is a little more expensive than other options that exist from NZXT or Corsair. But in my opinion, I think the extra $10 is worth it because as far as just the fan itself goes, I think it's more attractive than the other two offerings. But also, it has more features. So the Ring Plus has 12 LEDs, the other competitors like the Air and the Corsair RGB only have 8, and also they don't have the level of lighting control that these do as well. So at this stage, I think that the Thermaltake Ring Plus 12 RGB fans really are standout in their class. And if you're looking for a unique fan that has incredible customizability, looks great and looks neat, then I think these new Thermaltake fans are going to be absolutely perfect for your rig. So thanks again for Thermaltake for sending over the fans for me to play with. If you like this video, give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe, it helps me out a lot. And also stay tuned for next week's video where we'll probably be taking a look at Thermaltake's new Mecha Pro keyboard, and I'll talk to you guys in the comments and I'll see you in that one. Cheers guys.